which I thought was excellent. And one of the cases I was following was Bo Donaldson, who had raped Allison Huguet, who's in the audience tonight. And it was, I was just following it. I didn't know much about it. And then I saw that there was going to be a sentencing hearing, and, I like Montana. I've spent time here. And it was easy. Well, maybe I should go look at this hearing. It was much more appealing than going to Tallahassee, or something like that. So it was literally by chance. It's not like it was just on a whim. I didn't think it would be fruitful. It was this pure cold January morning in 2013 when the hearing was finally held. It was postponed a couple times. And I walked in there and I happened to sit down very close to Allison's family by chance. And I was riveted when seeing Allison's dad was the first witness, and her friend Keely and her mom, and she was, I think Allison was like maybe the fifth witness, second to last prosecution witness, and it was unbelievable. I mean, she was so courageous, and I literally wanted to stand up and cheer. She stood up to this very aggressive defense attorney, gave him as good as she got, better, and then in there I thought, wow, I could write a book around this woman, and it happened to be a woman in Missoula. My initial idea was that it would be one case. It'd be a short book, easy to write, one case, wasn't ambitious. And then the more I learned and saw this pattern and saw, all these cases were interconnected. And that just was it was natural to write about more than one case. And I really resisted writing about the Jordan Johnson case because that was a long trial, thousands of pages of trial transcript and pretrial motions, and I didn't see, I didn't actually decide to add that until the book. I imagined the book I was hoping it'd be 60,000 words. It seemed like it might not even be that long. That's kind of it's a really short book. And I'd written about that many words, and I said, okay, I'll add the quarterback stuff, Jordan Johnson stuff, and probably another 5,000 words. Well, the trial itself was another, I don't know, the book ended up being, whatever it is now, 120,000 words. So that's why, Missoula, once I started writing about it, it seemed like a really good choice. It's not an outlier. The problems Missoula has with sexual assault, I think, are very, very typical. The cases I looked at were, I thought, very typical, for the most part, for acquaintance rape. They're not, black and white for the most part, although Allison's was pretty black and white. There were, good people making bad decisions. There were bad people making bad decisions. It was interesting. It seemed to illustrate the problem in all its complexity. And I decided this book, I wanted to tell the story of acquaintance rape from the victim's point of view. That seemed to be what was lacking. I needed victims to trust me, and I got some really, really courageous women to trust me and let me tell their stories. I needed documentation from the get-go. I knew women are doubted. I needed a paper trail, stuff that had been adjudicated where there was records was very useful to me. From the get-go, I've been criticized for not interviewing everyone from the college president to I don't know who. My plan from the get-go was not to rely on interviews. All the questions I really wanted to ask, the people who I needed to ask wouldn't tell me by law or by ethics. Lawyers can't breach client-attorney privilege. School officials can't breach privacy laws. Law enforcement can't, there's the Criminal Confidentiality Act. So, it wasn't going to do any good to ask prosecutors or cops or university officials. I needed to get documents. That's what I do. I needed to get confidential documents. And Montana has a really good press shield law. That was very encouraging to me. If I got the documents, I could use them. I might get sued, but I could use them. I'd have a good fight.
Did it never occur to you, though, in choosing Missoula and having the name of this town slapped across this book, that some people would be pissed off and feel that they were being picked on, or that you didn't care because it's just a small town?
No, it's not. I really honestly thought it wouldn't be a problem. I thought that, this happened in Missoula. The book is about Missoula. It seemed like weird to think you could somehow give it a title that would spare the town, having to face the scrutiny. And it wasn't, I like Missoula. It's a wonderful town. It doesn't seem like this town would be so defensive. And I was wrong, and I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Corvallis, Oregon. It's like a smaller version of Missoula. And, you know, I get it now that if someone had come to town and written Corvallis, you know, rape in the justice system in a college town, I personally wouldn't have been upset, but I know a lot of people in Corvallis would have been. So I get it. Having said that, I don't regret it. I think it's a really good title. It's not sensational. It's almost like an academic paper. It says exactly what it is. It's concise. Missoula, rape in the justice system in the college town. That's a very brief, accurate description. So, you know, I don't know what to say. That's the title. I don't regret it. I'm sorry it caused so much turmoil. I mean, it certainly caused me problems too. Not, you know, so that's what it is.
Did you ever think about looking at home? Boulder, the University of Colorado have their own sexual assault problems. The school has also faced the same investigation from the Department of Justice that Missoula has. Why not look there? And how would you feel about it if somebody came to Boulder and wrote a book?
I would be glad that if Spotlight was shown. And Boulder has a terrible problem. I wish someone would write a story about that. You know, a lot of people think it's unfortunate that Missoula is under such scrutiny, beginning with Gwen. I mean, but actually Missoula has benefited immensely from Gwen bringing Sean. If she hadn't, you know, a number of people told me if she hadn't done what she did, this problem would still be swept under the rug. I don't know if people appreciate how rare it is for a college town where the college is so big, small town, small newspaper, for a reporter to stand up to football, the money, it's a big thing. And for a paper and reporter to have the courage to report the truth, until that there was scandal and the paper didn't cover because sports writers lose their access. I mean, it's a tough job being a sports writer. If you're a sports writer and you didn't write about this and you knew about it, you should be ashamed of yourself. And Gloria was her credit. She took so much shit for what she wrote. I mean, it was horrible. It was ugly. I saw it all. And she stood up for it. She didn't whine about it. She just did her job. And she deserves the credit for Missoula is a much safer and better town despite the embarrassment, thanks to her.
Let's talk a little bit more about some of the choices you made about people you were going to talk to.